Today I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite arcade games from when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. First I'm going to boot up my arcade 1-up. The cool thing about having this in your house is you have like 3,000 arcade games right there in your basement. And this thing is pretty sweet. You see I put some custom stickers down here. And this riser, there's actually two risers, so it's even taller. You'll see right now that the Raspberry Pi is loading up on the arcade 1-up. I love the artwork. This is a Street Fighter II edition. But you'll see in a second that there's tons of arcade games on this thing. And the cool thing about this is you can categorize it. Like right now I have a favorites folder, so I can see all my favorite games right here. It makes it a lot easier than having to scroll through thousands of games. So the first game I'm going to show you is called Dig Dug. It's actually one of the first video games I ever remember playing. It came out in 1982. And basically the plot is to just go around and kill these enemies. And you can also let these rocks fall on them like this. Let's see if I can pull this off. Oh, that can smush them. And you also have a weapon, and you can blow them up with your weapon. And you just have to keep going around and try to make it to the next level. Watch out for the dragons, because they can breathe fire. Whenever there's one character left, one enemy left, he always tries to escape. But you can just kill him, and you see there's my high score. This next game I'm showing you is called Donkey Kong. It's actually Mario's first appearance, but at the time he was called Jumpman. You'll see him here in a second. And the goal of the game is to make your way up these platforms to try to rescue the princess who's saying help up there. I think her name might be Daisy, I'm not sure in this game. But you can jump over these barrels and stuff, and there's some weapons like that hammer as you work your way to the top of the platform. Let's see if I can make it. I might actually make it. Yes! This next game is called Double Dragon. It was ported to the NES, but this version, you'll see it has the better graphics. The NES version is fun, and it's very good for the NES, but the arcade version is better. There's a punch button, and then there's a kick button. Now I'm not sure if the arcade version of this game had a dedicated jump. It did. So on the NES you have to push the jump and the kick at the same time to jump, but in this one there's a dedicated jump button. And it's just a beat 'em up where you go around try to destroy these guys so you can rescue your girlfriend. This one is called Final Fight, and it was eventually ported to the Super Nintendo. But in the early 90s, I remember playing this in arcade and loving it. And I was really excited when I found out that it was going to be on the Super Nintendo. And some people don't like the Super Nintendo port. Personally, I love it. It's actually one of my favorite games on the Super NES. But the arcade game is, of course, better. You can see the graphics look better. And there's more colors, and the sound's a little bit better. And you can actually choose from 3 different characters in this versus the Super Nintendo, where you can only choose between Hagar and Cody. But yeah, it's a really fun game. You just go around trying to destroy these guys. I think you also, with this game, the same plot as Double Dragon. The games are all the same. You have to rescue your girlfriend. I think Cody's the one who lost his girlfriend to this gang called the Mad Gear. You have to destroy all these enemies and make your way to the final boss. This one's called Galaga. It's another early game from Namco, the same people that made Dig Dug, and I think it's from around the same time. And it's a shooter. And I really like the graphics and the look of this game. It's just really simple, but a lot of fun to play. And I like the stars and stuff that you fly through. And it's really fun to try to get a high score. You see my high score right there is 45,000. I don't know if I'm going to beat that today. But this is one of my favorite really old school arcade games from the early 80s, Galaga. So this is a sequel that came out like 6 or 7 years after the original. Galaga 88. I just wanted to show you how the graphics had changed between like 81 and 88. You see it looks a little bit better. It still has like that same background with the stars and stuff flying by. But this is actually a really fun game as well. It's very similar to the first one, but a few upgrades here. The backgrounds have some more graphics, and there's some different power-ups and things like that you can get in this game. And there's some improved enemies. Here's a game called Gauntlet. I remember pumping a lot of quarters into this game back in the day, in the arcade. And then it was eventually ported to the NES, but you have to basically go around to the different levels, destroying these characters, and making your way past all these enemies to see how far you can get in the game. Here's another beat 'em up I like called Golden Axe from Sega, which was eventually on the Genesis as well. But I remember playing this in arcade before I had a Genesis, and it's a really awesome game. It's like a medieval times type game. And I think there's 3 different things you can do. There's attack, which is, with this character, it's the axe. There's jump, And this guy has a really good jump attack. But there's also a special, let's see if, when you push, like, I don't know what button it is. When you push that button, a special comes down. You see like the lightning strikes the enemies. And that's really good for like the bosses in this game. Here's another Nintendo game that came out a little bit after Donkey Kong in the early to mid 80s called Mario Brothers. Not to be confused with Super Mario Brothers. This is like the prequel to that. But it's really more based on high scores. Whereas, you know, Super Mario Brothers is like levels and trying to rescue the princess. But this game is pretty fun too. You just go around, you stomp on these turtles. You have to try to get rid of these turtles, which are also make an appearance in eventually Super Mario Brothers. There's coins like in Super Mario Brothers. And you'll see right here, I'm about to make it to the next level. And that's the goal of the game. Just keep getting as far as you can and try to get the high score. That's all I'm going to do for today, but if you did like this video, let me know. And I have a bunch more I can make where I show off some of my favorite arcade games from when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and have a great day.